Today we're going to be talking about order of operations, and this is a really important mathematical concept. This is something that comes up a lot, and we use pretty much every day in our mathematics courses. Okay, so evaluate this expression. What you need to understand is what 2 to the 6 means. Well, evaluate means find me a number. Okay, so evaluate. Find a number. 2 to the 6th means 2 multiplied 6 times. What is that? 4, 5, 6. So those 2's are going to be a 4. And then I have times by another 2 to the 4. I have another 2, 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Times by a 4. I believe that is 64. Which it is. I just checked on my calculator. Okay, so what I did is I just multiplied these 2's together, these 2, and these 2, and I got my 3 4's. And then I took and I multiplied the 4 times the 4 to get 16. And then 16 times 4 is 64. Okay. Pemdas. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Okay, so this is our order of operations. So when you're looking at these problems, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going through and you're going to be looking for performing anything in parentheses first. And then you're going to be doing anything that has an exponent to it. So there's a square root sign there, or an x is squared, or any exponent you see. And then you go through and you do any multiplication or division. Then you go through and you do any addition or subtraction. Okay, so remembering our PEMDAS. First we look for parentheses. Looking at this, I have no parentheses, so I'm going to kind of check that off. Then I do exponents. So there's only one exponent I see, so I leave everything else intact. 2 to the 3rd power is 8 times 3 plus 5. Done my exponents. Now you do multiplication and division together. So I do 48 divided by 8. Well, that is 6 times 3 plus 5. So I go across, I read across like I read a book. And I did this 48 times divided by 8 to get me 6. Then I do 6 times 3, which is 18. And then I do 18 plus 5, which is equal to 23. Okay, now, parentheses. I have a couple things in parentheses. So I'm going to do those first, and I'm going to leave them in parentheses. It really just doesn't mean anything. So 8 minus 3 is 5 times 3, and technically there's another times sign in there. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now I go across and I just multiply. So I have 5 times 3, which is 15, times 5 is equal to 75. Okay, this one's a fun one. So, first you want to do your parentheses. So you want to think of, do these innermost layer of parentheses first. So I have 4, 12, divided by 6 minus 2 is 4. Brackets are just a fancy parentheses, so they act the same. So I do 12 divided by 4, which is 3 squared. So now I've done all of my parentheses. I move on to my exponents. 3 times 3 is 9. And then I multiply, and I get 36. Okay, evaluate that. Okay, so you have a top and a bottom. So you have to work with the top, do all of your order of operations, and then work with the bottom. So I don't have any parentheses, so I do 2 to the 5th, which I believe is 32. It is. Minus 6 times 2. 3 to the 3rd is 27. Minus 5 times 3. Minus 2. Now I do all of my multiplication. So I have 32 minus 12. It's a minus symbol in there. 27 minus 5 times 3 is 15. Minus 2. So now I do 32 minus 12. That gets me 20. And then I can do 27 minus 15 to get me 12 minus 2. 12 minus 2 is 10. Now we have to reduce that fraction. The largest number that goes into both of those is 10. So that simplifies to 2. Now evaluating that expression. When x is 4, y is 3, and z is 2. So I have 2 times the quantity. What I have to do is I have to plug in 4. So I plug in 4 for the x. So I have 4 squared minus, now I plug in 3 for the y. 3 squared plus, now I plug in 2 for the z. So now it's just a matter of simplifying. So remember your PEMDAS, okay? Parentheses. So in my parentheses, I have to do those exponents. So I have 4 squared, which is 16, minus 3 squared, which is 9. And I guess technically outside I can do that parentheses outside. I'm sorry, the exponent outside. So that's going to turn into a 4. So I have 16 minus 9. So I have 2 times 7 plus 4. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 4 is 18. Okay? So that's my video on order of operations. All you really have to make sure you remember is you remember this PEMDAS. So parentheses, exponents, then you multiply or divide, just from left to right like we read a book, and then add or subtract from left to right just like we read a book.